Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing okay. Here's the friendship. That's what I'm going to be talking about today is energy and love and friendship and that type of thing, how people like they form certain groups based on their energies typically. I mean, you have ones that are like a free for all. They don't really have a particular type of person or people that they gravitate to. They're just like anything goes type of, unless, well, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's just two types of energy, and part of the rotten energy pretends it's not, and they mingle with the ones that have that pure energy. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Energy that is born in, or love rather, that is born in energy. Boy, my dyslexia just hit me right in the head right there. I was thinking just opposite of what I just said. I don't typically, well, I do that, and sometimes, yes, I sound like I have mixed messages because I actually do, you know. There's a way that I have to talk sometimes to get through to other people to open up their memories of who they are for themselves. That um, when you carry that energy and other people will try and emulate you, you're the one carrying that energy. It's not them, you know. So yeah, just sharing part of my day with you. I'll have a cigarette, maybe take a couple hits and of some smoke, and yeah, just chat about energies. Don't lie. We know that. I'm real selective, like in my life with who I mingle my energy with, because that can become harmful. You know, it really does. I can't do that anymore for people. I have patience. It's not that my patience has run out. It's just that I'm sick of giving my patience to people that don't want me to be, they want to see me snap. They don't care if I'm calm, or they would rather have me upset than calm, because that way they could control me. I know I wiggle a lot. I just do. So there you go. Sometimes I'll be like wiggling my leg, when I'm talking. I just do. I'm not hyperactive. Um, it started as a coping mechanism to ignore people. Like if I'd be in a clinic or something, and in a waiting room or something, and somebody be staring at me. I can't remember where I started doing it, but I started doing it in front of people. And it would mesmerize them, just like Mason's rings or jewelry or different things, tactics people will use for that type of hypnotism or whatever. It's crafty, whatever. Because I know how people's minds work. That's why. So, but it is a part of me, and it does help alleviate some of the tension inside there. Woo. Because it's there. Yeah. I mean, I smile when I want to smack somebody. Is that a good thing? you know, probably, probably, unless I actually follow through with it and I'm still smiling, then that That might still be a good thing. I don't know. But like I told people, if you're on the level of my mindset and you get me and I don't have to explain who I am and you're not seeing me as something I'm not or that type of bullshit, whatever, you know, anybody is welcome in my home at any time. If you're a friend of mine here and you're in Minnesota, don't go through without stopping to say hi, and I'll get you high while you're here too and feed you. I'll spoil you rotten, you know. That's how I am with my friends, you know. What's mine is yours almost, you know. And I'm not talking about any relationships that I've put to the side because they weren't worthy. I'm talking about um I share what I have because I don't care who shares that. It's a free for all ban. Who gives a fuck, right? Once you've been betrayed, you'd be a dumb mofo to sit there and take more of it, you know, without making it abundantly clear where you stand on the subject, you know. So yeah, I don't hide nothing from nobody ever. I don't care. You know, that's the thing too. And I was thinking how people, they're so afraid to talk about their personal lives. Who cares? I mean, if you have an image to maintain, I can understand, you know, and especially if you have a what would the word be? Public service to do for people and you don't need their judgmental bullshit while you're trying to get your job done, you know, that type of thing. I can see being very seclusive. And if there's haters out there that want to come up against you, I could see that that would be a problem. But some of us are fearless and we just don't care and we dare any motherfucker to come up against us because it's just another day of fun, you know. That's kind of how I am. Not that I want to fight with people, but I mean, look, I don't have a problem having real friends around people that don't carry that, you know what I mean? If I really don't. That's why I put family aside and everybody aside because no, they were not, that love wasn't born in the same energy that I carry, you know? And it's not the same, you know? It just isn't, you know? Must be a song. That's why I was thinking harmony, harmonious, you know? How you can just get along with some people and you just other people seem to want to misunderstand a sentence that everybody else could understand. I mean, you understand what I'm talking about. Um, you might have to read a little deeper into some things, but I'm pretty straightforward and perfectly clear, you know? And you're always safe around me. See, that's the thing with your energy, with your physical being. Nobody's ever going to do anything to any of my friends and get away with it. Now, I've seen shady people around me treating each other like shit. I'll let that go all day. In fact, I'll help instigate that shit. Really, if I know that they're on the dark side of things and they want to push my buttons, I'll push the bomb button and I'll make them just flip out in circles and jump up and down by the time I get done with them, you know? That's how I play. If they want to play, I'm going to really do it to it, you know? Not that that's a necessary thing or anything, but yeah. Oh, I'll have some of my smoke with you and chat for a while. But yeah, energy does not lie. And it's obvious, you know, it is so obvious. Can you imagine the people that weren't born in the energy of love? Um, I mean, what kind of love do they have for each other? You know, they love what they're doing because they love each other. They don't want to be born in the energy of love, you know? It's not their thing. I know I always say yum, but that's what I'm thinking when I love smoke, if it's good tasting. This is, I have some sativa. This is indica. So I have the two different main strains. That's good stuff. It's not really potent. It's just nice, you know. I passed around a picture of, oh, she's my second to the youngest granddaughter. I had made her a sundress, and I could have made it a little bigger, I think, but it just barely fit her to wear for that one summer, and she was mm, not even 2, I'm thinking. And her dad, my oldest son, I sent a picture of him around too. So some of the most recent pictures I have of him, I sent one of them, which is quite some time ago. He hasn't really changed as much as, I don't know, I haven't seen him for a couple years, but he probably hasn't changed much. So kind of got eyes like mine and red hair, and his daughter has red hair, just like his will turn darker too. Mine changes. It gets like really almost strawberry blonde in the summer if I'm out, and darker if I'm not out in the sunlight or whatever. You know, one year I have a picture of me, I'm about 9. It was white, just white hair. I had been out and my back was just black that year. My hair's white, my skin's just like dark. I looked like the freakiest um, person in a predominantly white um, Caucasian heritage neighborhood in my city when I was a kid. These people, I was one of the darkest ones there. One of them. There was, however, a Swedish person that I know had African heritage that they may not even known about, you know, but there's a lot. You don't have to be like you could be German in China and still be a Chinese citizen. So, you know, and of course, America here is quite the melting pot, you know. So, schmelting pot. Yeah, we'll burn them all together and see what we get when it comes out. Yeah, there's a thought. I think that's the plan, isn't it? Yeah. That's what I've been thinking. Yeah. What do these creatures deserve? you know? Especially, okay, if they're going to try and take energy that they know does not belong to them, just for the mere fact that they can, and that's all they've got. I mean, they can't take the initial source, they can't mess with anybody's actual initial soul, and no, nobody can take your soul. Nobody can take your soul. It just depends what you want for your soul in the future. It's not a matter of anybody claiming it. It's a matter of whether it's going to be or not. You know, it's not, no, no, you're not gonna suffer and suffer and suffer and what, if you're not suffering now for being stupid, your soul is worth nothing. You're not reflecting on anything. You are a one trick pony, a one time something something nothing. You know, be all that you can be, right? I played some pretty nice love songs and a couple um old time ones, Jim Croce's Time in a Bottle, stuff like that that I haven't heard for a while. Just thinking about people that really do care about me um and love me for myself made me feel like playing love songs. So yeah. Oh, I was thinking of a song I had played. I don't know if it was Hold the Line. There was some song that I heard, and I was thinking for 007 for Richie Avery to sing in part of his repertoire. I don't know if it was Hold the Line or um, one other. If I hear it again, oh, it was just perfect. It was almost like if you're watching Double O, it sounded almost like you. And I was thinking, dang, there's a good one for Richie. You know, if I recall it, I'll let you know. It's yeah, that's a cool song. I've been singing a lot more lately than I did. Well, I was so injured and I had a stroke. I recovered from. I couldn't walk or talk. Um, and I smashed by a horse, broken bones, sinus operation, all kinds of allergies. I was suffering. My hair fell out. Let's see what else. If that isn't enough, there's more. Um, tests at the CDC and the Mayo Clinic and an unknown fluke that I did identify and found a cure for. Well, it's not entirely a cure, but it's keeping me alive. And I did find the cure, but I don't know how possible a pure water transfusion would be. Um, but anyway, uh, let's see what else. All kinds of things just within like about a 10-year. Oh, I got gassed. Carbon monoxide. It didn't come up close enough for any alarms to go off. It was just ground level for a long time. Under our house, they had replaced the lines, and two things they did. They didn't use hangers to attach it, and they used water fitting um, uh, nuts instead of the um, gas or air type ones that are much tighter than the water fitting ones. So the gas was leaking up under the house, and I was sleeping closer to the ground than anybody else. I got sick first, and it brought on a stroke. I was having heart palpitations, and I went to the doctor and I told him, and it happens in the evenings. I kept telling him, but, and then all of a sudden I almost died, you know. So I went from not being, and died like squished by a horse. I couldn't walk then either. Um, Broken toes, broken shoulder and arm, and everything. I was a mess. I could barely. I mean, I had been sleep deprived all my life. It was part of their tactics anyway. And I started working nights because of all that. And then that got really hard. And then when my kids were in school, it got doubly hard to do that. But these people literally tried to kill me with sleep deprivation, you know, and all kinds of tactics, you know. So I just had some added life taken off of me, which was probably, or maybe not. Maybe it made me so damn tough that I'll outlive all my haters, 'cause that's what they deserve, you know. You know, I don't care either way. I know my soul's been before and will go on. So people can't throw that fear tactic shame shit on me. It's like, yeah, whatever. Go make somebody else crawl on their knees. That's not going to be me. you know. So anyway, yeah, energy, dark energy. Why? Just why? I know why, but it doesn't make it any easier, you know. Well, it does if you're not involved in it. Yeah, be careful of how you look at other people, because people that have dark energy are the ones that gossip the most. I saw this little dude that plays a drum off beat, and I have perfect timing. And yeah, I'm a musician too, and a dancer. It's hard to dance if you don't have rhythm, but dark energy came through on that drum. It's like, whoa. Mm. It's just like some Native American songs and stuff I cannot listen to because of the dark what is it, connotations, um, aspects of it. you know, I just can't. Like, no. Mm-mm. And a lot of people, I think, like even on Facebook, they'll share, or I share indigenous stuff, but I don't share a lot of like ceremonial or powwow stuff. I was named at a powwow. Kiko Pasha Tai. It means I help things to grow. Um, kind of. A little more than that, but that's what it means on the surface level for people. And well, anyway, and that was freaky, that powwow. But there's some and they're dancing and singing that I just can't deal with it. When it gets to be like warrior type stuff, it's like I'm not gonna sit there and sing about it when I'm ready to pick up some shit. It's just going to happen, you know. I don't have to get myself all worked up. I'm already there, you know. Anyway, Just my thoughts. So if I have any natives watching me, just my thoughts, sweet people. Give it a rest. Unless you're going to actually have a powwow on the White House lawn and claim your White House in your country like Israel does, where they go, that type of thing, only for real, because it's yours. Unless you're going to do that, why don't you just shut down the war powwows? What is it getting you? you know, besides more heartache, you know, turn it off, you know, my thoughts. It's just like with fry bread. They think, well, that's Native American food. It typically wasn't, and some of you know the history of when they were separated from their children and put into camps and starved, and the only thing they had was like flour with bugs in it and different things. They would take and fry these chunks of dough in any kind of grease that they had just to have that substance. So some natives still make what they call traditional fry bread, and other natives aren't so big on it because of the history behind the whole thing. I was at a car show one time, and one of the first and only times that I would leave my kids unattended, old enough to take care of themselves. My oldest one was probably 13. It's 12 in our state where you can leave them unattended. So, I mean, there's times that I'd have them sit in the car, not come in the house, but they get off the school bus and I'd be right behind them home. So I had another car in the yard and they could lock the doors, and there was water, treats, whatever, and I'd be there within like 15 minutes to a half hour. I'd have them wait, depending on what I was doing in my life. I had to do what I do, but I couldn't let them in the house because they could go to a neighbor or honk the horn or whatever. It just was the position I was in with no help with my sons. But the first time that I actually left them alone for a few hours, I was at a car show and I called them, to see basically if they wanted something when I was on my way home, and how were they doing. And my oldest Luke answered the phone and he's like, "We're making fry bread. Um, we almost got it done for when you get home." And I said, "That's nice, but you're freaking me out. Hot oil? You're letting your little brother do that?" "No, he's just watching." I'm like, "Oh, well, I was pretty much freaking out because the little one had already in the past started the house on fire. And I've lived through a house fire before, so I was a little freaked. But I got home and it was okay. And his fry bread was really good, you know. But yeah, I got a babysitter, maybe 3 or 4 times in their life. Not anything really. And then I was forced into having my children go away from me by pretended relatives and um, people that only were more worried about money or influencing them in a bad way than they were actually about the little people that I cared about. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck. So when you watch people intentionally do things to your child to condition them in ways that you would never want your little people to be. That's infuriating, you know? I wanted to say I love your energy, the love-born energy that we all carry like that. Or maybe not all of us, excuse me. Some of us. Yeah. Some of us are like that, some aren't. All right, everybody. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day, and my cursor is stuck wherever you're at.